Kansas because then Fort Riley took over. So but yeah, we think we did. You know, we in Wilbur. When we were on duty rotation. And communication basically we just
Well, actually, this would be your down. What do you say? Your left, right, or left?
Wow, doesn't he? That is yours. I got one more. Hi, how are you?
Oh, excuse us.
Coming through. Present! Oh!
Ruach Adonai Nashpavo, Achein Chatzit Sa'am, Yevesh Chatzit Havel Tzit, Udavar Elohim Yasum Le'olam. Voice cries out, and I say, what shall I cry? All flesh is grass, and all its beauty is like the flower of the field. The grass withers, the flower fades, when the wind of Adonai blows upon it. Truly the people are grass, grass withers, the flower fades. The word of Adonai shall endure forever. Begin with immediate family who is wearing a black ribbon. We'll invite them in a moment to say some words after me, words of blessing, to acknowledge the truth of this loss. In our Jewish tradition, it is not about hope or expectation, it's just about the reality and the sadness that we acknowledge and all the feelings. So if camera, Holly, You can repeat after me. Baruch atah Adonai,
Baruch atah Adonai,
Dayan
Dayan
ha'emet.
ha'emet.
Praise you, Adonai our God,
Praise you, Adonai our God,
the judge of truth.
the judge of truth.
Lord, we can say amen. You can go ahead and tear from the bottom, and it's the sound that is evocative beyond all words, to reflect all the feelings of the moment.
Present. Arms. Order. Arms.
symbol of Lou's dedicated service to our great country. Thank you.
The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. It is only the house of the Spirit which we now lay within the earth. The Spirit itself cannot die. Receive in mercy, O God, the soul of our departed Lou Michaels. Grant him everlasting peace which you have prepared for us in the world to come. Though no human eye has seen, nor ear has heard, nor mind has grasped it, still it is our sure inheritance and our everlasting portion. O God, help us to understand that grief and love go hand in hand, that the pain which loss inflicts is the measure of a love stronger than death. Though we cry in anguish of our hearts, may we be like the children who know that their parent is near, and who cling unafraid to the trusted hand. In this spirit, O God, do we commit all that is precious to us to your keeping. In the words of Psalm 23, if the words are familiar, feel free to join. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The fact that all people eventually die has always served as a lesson to living. We cannot long evade the consciousness of our own mortality and fail to draw therefrom some fundamental lessons on how to live our lives. As we become conscious of this fact, we cannot help but repeat the prayer of the psalmist, Limnot Yamenu, Ken Hodea V'Naveh Levev, Chochmah. So teach us to number our days, that we may obtain a heart of wisdom. It takes great wisdom to use the days that God has granted us well, with love and spirit. For once we have let time pass, we can never reclaim it. On the other hand, all that has happened within that time is never lost. Passing time is not only a thief, but also a trustee. And whether we regard time as a thief or as a trustee determines how we will live our lives. We can live our lives in fear and sadness, like a man who daily tears a sheet from his calendar and thinks only that the calendar grows thinner with each passing day. Or, like Lou Michaels, we can live our days with joy and hope, a sense of achievement, like a man who daily keeps a calendar diary, and each day records his daily accomplishments, filing away each annual volume with its predecessors. The family and friends of such a man can, at a time like this, reflect with pride and joy on all the richness that has been set down in these metaphoric notes. They can look back upon a life that has been lived to its fullest. They can rest assured that the work done, the loves loved, the experiences enjoyed, the suffering suffered was seen in the end as good and beautiful. They'll be safely preserved and treasured with interest and with enough insurance to assuage any worry in the hearts and memory of those who have been touched by such a man. Lou lived a good life, a colorful life, always with a positive perspective despite any hardship. His resilience will be a central part of his legacy. He had a vitality to his way of being. He had a strong, boisterous presence. He was a jokester, street smart, and kind. Such a large heart for both people and animals. These qualities drew in so many. He was a storyteller, He told true stories that might have actually happened, but you would be certain to be entertained. We're all mishpacha, he would say. We're all family. And at this moment, our hearts go out to his immediate family, his wife, Tamara, his daughter, Holly, grandchildren, Alexandria and Avery, his great-grandchild, Avery, and his adopted daughter, Raven. May you all be comforted among the mourners of Zion. Our rabbis made a fascinating comment about how we create a feeling of godliness in our lives. They said, the divine presence does not rest where there is idleness or sadness or levity or frivolity or empty speech, but only where there is happiness. Why is it that happiness is what attracts the divine presence? Because there are moments in all our lives when it's difficult to maintain an outlook of joy. Life is lived with moments of celebration, but also with hurt and pain. Therefore, to live life with constant joy is to affirm faith in goodness and meaning of life. And the person who lives life joyfully, with humor and kindness despite the difficulties that life may bring, therefore is a witness to God's existence. As we say our final goodbye, our last left b'shalom to Lou, we can take great comfort in knowing that he lived his life joyfully with great happiness. And whether he knew it or not, he did God's work by bringing joy to all who knew him. Lou's joy was being part of many fellowships: the American Legion, the VFW, the Jewish War Veterans, Winter Carnival, National Photography League, Legion Riders, the Odd Fellows, Kiwanis, not to mention Masons, Lions, Moose, Eagles, Elks. Not sure if all those are true. National Press Club. That was something of which he was especially proud. And also in 2015, Lou Michaels, as the 57th King Winter for the 2015 Senior Royalty, Winter Carnival knighted me at Mount Zion after a Shabbat service. I will never forget it. Lou was the photo guy. He took pictures on duty in Vietnam. He covered many news stories for many papers. He took pictures at Mount Zion's key moments in many papers until the last weeks of his life. He was best as a sports photographer, capturing action shots for the Saints, to the Minnesota United, and many others. He also was an avid coin collector, a Netflix enthusiast, a history buff, ham radio operator. He began his life in Detroit on November 27th, 1923, the only child of his parents, Joseph, Joe, and Lillian. His mom was a Harris, his dad a Feldman, which was the family name. Lou eventually took his middle name and made it plural as his last name, and thus became Lou Michaels. As a kid, though he was known by the nickname Bagel. After his parents' divorce, he was raised by his grandma, his bubby, who taught him to be self-reliant and organized. If he left his clothes on the floor, they'd be tossed. He learned about photography in high school, went to Macomb Community College, where he also got into radio, developed his radio personality, something he could start on a dime even the week before his death, with a ready-made audience ready to listen. That charismatic personality led to a life of bringing people together and relationships with many, including marriages. His first wife, Karen, mother of Holly, and 4 other wives, before marrying Tamara in 2006 on his birthday, and jewishly renewed their wedding in the Harris Chapel at Mount Zion, which I officiated a year later. In the 18 years of their marriage, 18 being the number of life, of Chai, he relied on Tammy's care for sustaining his life, supporting him through stage 4 cancer and a series of medical challenges. Sweetly, they would say to each other at night, following I Love Lucy, good night, Ethel, good night, Fred. And others supported Lou as well, including Allie, his granddaughter, these last weeks as his caregiver. He began life as an only child and ended it as a great-grandfather with so many by his side in such a wide community. To speak about Lou as a friend, I invite Stu Mednick to offer his words of eulogy.
Forward, forward.
going to repeat what the rabbi said about Lou because that's a whole lot of stuff to say. But everyone knows Lou as the photo guy, and everyone knows Lou as a member of a myriad of organizations that the rabbi had already presented to us. And everyone knows Lou can make you look good in a picture, even with the lens cap on. Right? Everyone's saying it together. That was his tagline. So I don't want to talk about Lou and his accomplishments or his affiliations or his photography business because that was already said. I would rather talk about Lou as a true mensch. That's who Lou Michaels really is. We can all learn a bit about how Lou lived a simple and gratifying life when reflecting about him. He did what he enjoyed, and in performing these special activities, and many times he traveled around the country in doing so, he shined with an aura of giddiness like a little boy in a toy store. He would laugh out loud with a stereotypical Papa-type belly laugh, as if to spread his infectious cheer with an unwritten invitation to join in his levity. From Lou, we learn how to appreciate the small special moments or satisfaction that warms one's heart. For example, I helped him, or tried to help him learn how to use a computer many times, as I'm sure many of you here understand his inability to do so. And taking part of this thankless toil, he never learned, but when he had one of those rare aha moments, his face would just light up with pride, and that he was able to understand performing a very simple task like unbolding the print when he composes an email, which lasted about a week. Or just remembering how to be able to log in on his computer. But Lou loved a good deli sandwich. He loved Verner's ginger soda, a good cup of coffee, and he really loved a good smoked brisket, to name a few of these simple delights. But this was never enough or never enjoyed unless he was able to share the moment with someone else. Lou proudly displayed his alliances by wearing t-shirts or polo shirts that were tagged with an affiliated organizational name or logo that he proudly touted membership, and usually a ball cap to match. His collection was grand, to Tamara's chagrin. But these again were just simple pleasures Lou enjoyed. And to live a full life, giving was a huge part of the fabric that made Lou Lou. He gave in the form of participation. He gave in the form of invitation. And he gave in the form of recreation. He would want to join as many clubs as he could, if for no other reason than to meet people. He would invite people to his organization's events or to his home, if for no other reason than to cheer people. And he would want to be active in social activities, if for no other reason than to amuse people. Surrounded with people plus joy equals Lou. To Lou, his people are his family, just like the rabbi had said. And this simple man, if asked, would unhesitatingly give you the shirt off his back, even if it were the last one he owned. For all you are, Lou Michaels, as a whole, you define mensch, a good person and a joy to be around. Simple. So there's a healing mantra used in some cultures in the world to cleanse us of negative thoughts, feelings, that I would like to incorporate here. And these 4 things are: I love you, thank you, I forgive you, forgive me. So, 1, for Lou, we all love you. For 2, we thank you for making this world a little better place from your presence, and made us all a little happier and a bit more fulfilled in our own lives. 3, and so you could rest in your eternal bomb shelter, as he referred to his final resting place. With a clear conscience and pure gratitude, we forgive you of any wrongs, transgressions, or bickering that may have transpired among us. And 4, we hope you will forgive us for not fully appreciating you when we were moved by your beaming smile, enthusiastic voice of optimism, and your soft and gentle gaze of welcoming eyes that always said, I am your friend. You inspire me to be a mensch that you were. You are now a blessed memory that will live in our hearts and our anecdotal conversations of the exploits of Lou Michaels. May you have fair winds and following seas on your final journey. You will truly be missed. Amen.
Yehuda Amichai, an Israeli poet, wrote, "When a man dies, they say of him, he was gathered unto his ancestors. As long as he is alive, his ancestors are gathered within him. Each and every cell of his body and soul is an emissary of one of the countless ancestors from the beginning of all the generations. May Lou's memory be for a blessing. May he rest in peace. And may his boisterous spirit, rooted in his ancestry, be a source of stories for generations to come." Amen. Please rise, if you would, for El Malei Rachamim, our memorial prayer. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein V'Amromim, Hamsei Menucha Nechona, תחת כנפי השכינה, עם קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים נשמת אליעזר בן יוסף, שלח לעולמו. בעל הרחמים, יסירהו בסתר כנפיו לעולמים, ויצרור ביצרור החיים נשמתו, אדוני הוא נחלתו, וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר Amen. May the source of life, the fountain of all being, open our hearts to compassion, our eyes to wisdom, that we might glimpse in perfect peace and sadness the way of all things. May Lou's memory be for us a blessing. May we never let the light of his love grow dim in our hearts. May we remember all his worthy deeds, that his memory be forever bound up in the bond of life. God is our source and our destination, our beginning and our end. May Lou's death awaken us to this truth, that the bond of love we shared and share not be severed in sorrow. May he rest in peace. And together we say, Amen. Mekamom Yavo B'Shalom. May Lou Michaels come to his eternal home in peace. In our Jewish tradition, to shovel dirt into the grave is a mitzvah, a righteous act which we do not do without any hope of reward. With this act, we take on the responsibility of caring for our loved ones to the very end. Our loved ones deserve to be buried by kind hands, knowing hands, sorrowful hands. You are invited to participate in this mitzvah, a painful act, however one born of love and compassion for those who have meant so much to us. Adonai Natam Adonai Lakati Hishem Adonai Mevorach. With Job we have said, God you have given, God you have taken away. Blessed be the name of God. The tradition is to use the backside of the shovel to show our reluctance even in this task. You can do 1, 2, or 3 shovelfuls, and then replace the shovel, if you would, back into the dirt, not passing the shovel to the person behind you. We begin with members of the family.
Hard as a rock. There you go. That's what I did. Or you can take one on the regular way if you want.
Others can come on either side, anyone who wishes to participate.
There you go. Just throw it. There you go. Perfect. Yep.
After everyone's had an opportunity, we will gather for one final prayer before we depart.
Did you do it yet? No. Oh. That's fine. Oh. I didn't know if you were done.
House of Wong. House of Wong. After this. Where's that at, Grandma? Larpenteur, make a right. Larpenteur and Lexington.
By Aldi.
Okay.
For those of us here, we will be gathering now to say Kaddish prayer. Some of you have been given cards.
Sorry, yes. Hello.
We'll invite everyone who has a Kaddish card to say this memorial prayer. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabba v'yalma divrach hirotei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael v'agalav v'zman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'lamei amaya v'yitvarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudasha v'richu Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran b'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlamar rabba m'shamayim, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. Osei shalom v'yamromav, hu ya'asei shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. And the source of peace and comfort to the family, and together we say, Amen. Lech hishalachach Adonai, go your way, Lu, for God has called you. Lech v'Adonai hiyeh imach, go your way, and may God be with you. V'halach lifnecha tzidkecha kavod Adonai esfecha, may your righteousness go before you, and the glory of God receive you. Amen. Friends, we transition now from this burial and honoring Lu to comforting the mourners. Tomorrow night there will be a gathering at Phelan Arcade. What's the name of the place? On Arcade Streets at 7 p.m. It is a time for gathering, a brief service, and a chance to share other stories. Right now I'm going to ask everybody who is here to comfort the family to form two lines from here, facing each other toward the cars, so the family can walk between you.
Yes, we did. As the family walks through you, I would invite you to repeat after me.
May God console you with all who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. המקום ינחם אתכם בתוך שערי אבלי ציון וירושלים. This concludes our service. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rabbi. Trinidad, take care, buddy. Wherever.